Latest on the investigation into the deadly mass shooting at a Latter-day Saint meetinghouse parking lot in Rose Park.
Last night, 8 people were shot during a viewing. 2 of them died. Today, police identifying the victims as 36-year-old Sione Vatuvei and also 46-year-old Vaea Tulikihifo. Brian Schnee is in Rose Park tonight, where these families are in mourning. And Brian, a very different scene than we saw last night.
Heidi and Mark, very quiet here tonight along North Redwood Road, which was very different than how things were last night. We'll show you video from last night in just a moment. But earlier today, I took basically a 360 lap around the meetinghouse property. In the back, you can see the markings on the ground from the investigation last night. Lots of circled spots spray painted as part of that investigation. Also, some flowers were laid down on the sidewalk towards an entry point in the back of the building. And you can also see a bullet hole through one of the windows that was directly next to one of the entry points as well. Minimal crime scene tape left. Vehicles have gone. They were towing a vehicle earlier today that had bullet holes on the side. Now, looking at video from last night, completely different than how things look nearly 24 hours after this shooting that took place in the parking lot behind this meeting house here on North Redwood Road on the west side of Salt Lake City. More than 50 vehicles from law enforcement agencies all across the Salt Lake Valley, including Metro gang units and tactical teams that were here all as part of this investigation, where there are numerous people that were injured and also at least 2 deceased. That number has not changed from the preliminary information that we got last night. And coming up, we'll hear more about the investigation. But I spoke with the Rose Park Community Council chair about how this situation, this incident, if you will, has just rocked this community that is also a community that is no stranger to violence and crime. What were your first thoughts about hearing something took place here that involved the loss of life?
It's a complete tragedy for our community. It should not have happened the way that it did. Any loss of life by this kind of violence is unacceptable. And it's a heartfelt condolences to our neighbors of this community, and our wish and hope is for a fast healing.
Coming up tonight at 7 o'clock, a longer part of our conversation with Courtney on behalf of the Rose Park Community Council. That council actually was in the middle of a standard meeting last night when the shooting took place here, and the officer that was there as part of the council was immediately rushing out the door to provide aid to the investigation here. We have team coverage for you tonight on 2 News at 6 o'clock. Brian Malahy has an update on the people who died and those who were shot but survived. Liv Kelleher is first. Liv, have police shared any information about a suspect or suspects involved in this crime?
Well, Brian, police have said that there were individuals at this memorial last night that may have been connected to gang activity. They say there was a dispute and then an exchange, and that there may be multiple shooters. Police handcuffed, detained, and questioned several individuals last night. None of those people were placed under arrest. Police say the individuals involved knew each other and that the investigation has been frustrating because some witnesses are not cooperating. Of the 8 that were shot, 5 are still receiving care for non-life-threatening injuries. Police say there are officers with those individuals at the hospital and that it is possible they could be suspects or they could be victims. Police also confirmed that Metro gang units were at the scene last night. Take a listen to what Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Rudd had to say about this.
There is indication that there were individuals at the scene that were potentially involved in gang activity. We don't know the cause for the violence, and so that's what we're investigating. So we're cautious to say this is a gang-related shooting because we're still investigating the cause of the shooting.
Now, we're also aware of photos circulating online from inside that funeral. We asked police if they're treating the funeral and then the shooting outside of the funeral as connected or separate events. They say this is something that they are still investigating, but it's a high possibility that some people who were in the parking lot were also somehow at some point connected to that memorial. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Liv, thank you very much. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has a strict policy on guns and firearms at their meeting houses, like the building here behind me, 660 North Redwood Road on the west side of Salt Lake City. The official church handbook says, quote, firearms and other lethal weapons are not allowed on church property. This includes concealed weapons. This does not apply to current law enforcement officers. Meanwhile, Governor Spencer Cox says that he has kept up on all of the developments related to this investigation. He's also expressing sorrow for the lives lost.
Our thoughts go out to the families. Terrible thing that happened there. We've been following closely. We received the same updates that the Chief Red shared with all of you today about the nature of the shooting and the people that were involved. I'm glad there's no further threat to the public.
Governor Cox supports the Second Amendment and has backed pro-gun legislation in the past that includes a law easing restrictions on carrying concealed weapons. The NRA says Cox has an A+ rating. We're also hearing from both of our senators. Mike Lee posting on social media saying, join me in praying for the victims of such senseless violence and all the families of this church. And this from Senator John Curtis. Violence like this is unacceptable and cannot be normalized. 2 lives were stolen, families were shattered, and a community was shaken. We must stand united in condemning violence, supporting victims, and reaffirming our commitment to safe communities rooted in respect for life and the rule of law. A neighbor to one of the victims said that he had started to turn his life around tonight. The neighbor expressing a deep sense of loss. Brian Malahi joining us live in the Glendale area tonight. Now, Brian, we are talking about the youngest of the 2 people that were killed less than 24 hours ago in this shooting.
Yeah, 38-year-old Sione Vatuvei. And for a woman here in this neighborhood, Vatuvei was literally, for years, the kid next door.
You've lived next to him for some time.
Yes, like 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah, so I knew him when he was little.
Anna Reyes watched Sione Vatuvei grow up.
He changed his life. He used to get in trouble, but he turned himself around and was good for quite a few years.
She says the man she knew had become caring and helpful, the man whose life ended suddenly outside the Latter-day Saints ward.
It's very sad. Yeah, very sad.
That's my family.
This woman does not want to be identified, says she knew Vatuvei, and says he's not the first person she knew who was shot and killed.
Why all this shooting?
I think it's just people that are upset with each other. It's really sad. It's unfortunate. It's stupid.
Is it also frightening?
It is. But when you live in Glendale, you get used to it because there's a lot of shootings here.
Oh, I don't know if he was just in the wrong place, wrong time, or if he was actually, targeted.
Another neighbor says the family had big gatherings down the street, and at those gatherings, no yelling, no violence, no police calls, no shooting. Live in the Glendale neighborhood, Brian Malahi, KUTV 2 News.
Brian, thank you very much. We know a little bit more now about the man who was being honored at this meeting house with a viewing when the shooting started last night just around 7:30. Asi Sakona, strong ties to Southern California, specifically the Inglewood area outside of Los Angeles. According to a Facebook post from his wife, he moved to Utah, got married after being released from prison. A woman at last night's service told me that Sakona's body will be sent back to California for a burial. Also something that Courtney Reeser, the chair of the Rose Park Community Council, mentioned to me in our conversation today. She brought up the Trolley Square incident that took place 19 years ago, which was the last large-scale sort of mass shooting situation that took place in Salt Lake City. This is how it looked at Trolley Square back February 12th of 2007. Suleiman Talavic entered the mall, then shot and killed 5 people, injured 4 others. Salt Lake City police took out the shooter after entering the back door of the Pottery Barn. The Trolley Square shooting helped the Salt Lake City Police Department change how it works with other agencies, especially getting medical care to those in need faster.
We really were one of the agencies that unfortunately pioneered some of this response.
Police never determined the motive behind Talavik's violent attack. According to Johns Hopkins University, Utah's death rate went up 9% between 2013 and 2022. Salt Lake County has the highest gun homicide rate in Utah, 44% higher than the rest of the state. And in Utah, men are 3 times more likely to be shot and killed than women. And in 2022, half of Utah's gun homicide deaths were people between 15 and 34 years old. A lot to unpack here in Rose Park. We'll keep you updated on the shooting that took place here last night outside of this meeting house on North Redwood Road that took the life of 2. We'll have all the latest information as we get it during our newscasts right here on KUTV 2 News, also on our website and our 2 News mobile app. I invite you to join me for a longer conversation coming up tonight.